Chapter 10. Ask ye of the Lord rain in the time of the latter rain. So the Lord shall make bright clouds, and give them showers of rain, to every one grass in the field. For the idols have spoken vanity, and the diviners have seen a lie, and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain. Therefore they went their way as a flock. They were troubled, because there was no shepherd. Mine anger was kindled against the shepherds, and I punished the goats. For the Lord of hosts hath visited his flock, the house of Judah, and hath made them as his goodly horse in the battle. Out of him came forth the corner, out of him the nail, out of him the battle bow, out of him every oppressor together. And they shall be as mighty men, which tread down their enemies in the mire of the streets in the battle. And they shall fight, because the Lord is with them, and the riders on horses shall be confounded. And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph. And I will bring them again to place them, for I have mercy upon them. And they shall be as though I had not cast them off, for I am the Lord their God, and will hear them. And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as though through wine. Their children shall see it, and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in the Lord. I will hiss for them, and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall pass away, shall depart away. And I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, saith the Lord. Zechariah has been fabulously correct on everything he has said, as have all the other prophets. Here he says a few things that you need to pay attention to, because they are life and death for us today, because they are rampant in the world today. John chapter 10, verses 7 through 15 talk about Jesus being the true shepherd and the necessity of us having a true shepherd. And in this first part of this verse, it talks about, people losing their way, going their own way, whatever, being disappointed because there is no shepherd. And the point is, a lot of people don't really want a shepherd. They want to do their own thing, and so they have these soothsayers and numerologists and people with tarot cards and other satanic frauds, and that's exactly what they are, satanic frauds. And the reason that they are satanic frauds is that they basically make it seem as though you don't have to go to the Lord to find out anything. You can find it out from one of these fraudulent things. Just like Israel had false priests, paid priests, false prophets, paid prophets, people who would say whatever they were paid to say. And Zechariah and all the other prophets railed against these people because they lead people astray. Ask your dumb statues for rain if you want to rain. See what you get. Now, basically, the biggest reason why people go to these false gods and these false things is because it relieves them of the responsibility to be personally righteous in what they do. The Lord wants your personal righteousness. He wants the sacrifice of your desires to be disobedient, to be sinful. He wants you to sacrifice those things on the altar and burn them up so they're totally destroyed and replaced by a desire to do good. That's what he wants. And to the extent that people are not willing to give up their sins, they're not willing to worship God. Do you want to worship God? You must give up your sins. There are 4 symbols a little later on in the chapter. We'll tell you what they mean. 3 symbols anyway. The first one is, out of them is mentioned 4 times in reference to Judah. Judah will be the source of the strength. Judah's the one that's restored first. They're the ones that are there now in Israel. That is Judah. Talks about the tent peg. The tent peg is a curved peg that was built into the wall, not just right beside the door, so that if you're headed out the door, you can grab your sword or your spear or your sling or whatever and be ready for battle if need be. When I lived 72 miles up the Yukon River from Dawson City, over top of the door, I had a couple of nails and my hunting rifle was right over there. If I was going out, I could reach up, grab that gun, and by the time I was 2 feet outside, I was ready for anything. I know how that works. If you weren't, if it wasn't a time of war or whatever, you would put household tools under. Number 3, it says every ruler, and usually every ruler was a bad thing, but here it was a good thing because the ruler that they would have would not abuse the people with unfair burdens, would not take exorbitant taxes. He would put a tribute on their enemies, Israel's enemies, and make them pay, and he would be fair and honest with the people that he was looking after. In verses 10 through 11, talks about the gathering of Israel, talks about Egypt. Always Egypt is a land of slavery, a land of evil, a place they were taken out of. Ashur, which is another name for Assyria, was a place of horrors where the 10 tribes vanished into. Verse 11 talks about Ephraim, which is representative of the 10 tribes, is to return. And Ephraim is going to inherit Gilead, which is the land on the eastern side of the Jordan River, and also going to inherit Lebanon, which is the north, which was the territory originally inherited by some of the tribes of some of the 10 tribes. And they use Ephraim not because the tribe of Ephraim is going to be there, but Ephraim as representative of the 10 tribes was going to do that. And you have to remember the original area of the promised land was much larger than current day Israel. And so when the Lord talks, if he's going to bring them back, he's going to bring them back to the area that they were originally going to have, not the political boundaries that they have today.